Hey guys, in this video, you're going to learn how to play Hide Your Love Away by the Beatles. This is a great song. It only has a handful of chords and a cool strumming pattern, so it's a good one to learn how to play so you can sit around the campfire and impress your friends. So I'm going to show you how to play the verse to start off with. We're going to jump right in, and then I'm going to break it down for you after that. So here we go. This is what the verse sounds like. Okay, so there's basically 8 measures and then it repeats, and it starts on a G chord. The second chord is a D suspended. It's a D chord just with your pinky added on the 3rd fret of the high E string. And then we go to an F add 9, which is like 3, 2, 1, with your pinky added on to the G, the 3rd fret of the high E string, which makes it an F add 9. And then we go to a G chord after that F. So those are the first 4 chords. So G, D sus, F add 9, and back to G. And you may notice I'm using 2 different forms of the G chord throughout the song. Most of the time I'm doing that based on what sounds right, but also based on what is going to be convenient based on what chord is before it and what's coming after it. So which fingers I need to get to the D chord from G, I'm going to use this G. But coming from a C or an F, I'm going to use this G. So, in case you're wondering. So the first 4 chords again, G, D sus, F add 9, G. And then the next 4 measures are going to be C with your pinky on the 3rd fret of the high E string. You play that for 2 measures, and then you go to F add 9 and right back to C for your 3rd and your 4th measure of that part of the song. What you're going to notice too is that your pinky stays put throughout all of these chords. So that's kind of that droning note that you hear going on throughout the verse, and it just provides a lot of context and helps us understand that that is the root note of the song. So when you put all that together, we have 8 measures. We have G, D sus, F add 9, G, C, C, F add 9, C. Okay, so that's the first part of the verse, and it repeats. And after it repeats, when it gets back to the very last C, it goes to a D chord, and you play it for 2 measures, and the second measure is going to have a hammer-on to it. And I need to break down the strumming pattern for you as well. So before we get into the strumming, just go through those chords and make sure that you have a clear understanding of where to put your fingers for those. And then you can start with a strumming pattern, which with your right hand is going to go like this. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. The song is in 3/4 time, and so that means there's 3 beats in each measure, and it gives a little bit of a swing to it. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And with that strumming pattern, you're really strumming 1, 2, and 3, and 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 that's what gives that song the feel that it has when you play through the chords. So when we assign our right hand that task of playing the strumming pattern and our left hand the task of changing through these chords, we put it all together and it starts to sound like this. And there you have it. Now when it does get to the D at the end of the repeat, you're going to play the D the first time completely normally. The second time you start with your index finger and your middle finger raised up, and you strum the first downstroke of the pattern, and then you hammer on with these 2 fingers that are floating up in the air. And then you complete the strumming pattern with the down, up, down, up. So in slow motion that goes. So the first time through is normal, and then you add that hammer on just as an embellishment, and all of it put together sounds like this. And then it actually goes right back into the verse beginning, so G, D sus, F add 9, G, C, C, F, C. And the second time around, when you get to the D, it actually does a walk down. And so this is going to be going into the chorus. And the walk down starts on a D. And then we're going to use our pinky to add a C note, so the 3rd fret of the A string, but continuing to hold down the D here. So this is like a D over C. And then the 3rd chord in the walk down is you can take your pinky off and move your index finger up 2 strings to the 2nd fret of the A string. So this would be like a G major 7 over B if you're keeping score at home. And I'm actually muting the D string with my index finger as well. So the notes I'm hearing are this B, the 2nd fret of the A string. The D string is muted. The open G, 3rd fret of the B, and 2nd fret of the high E. And then the 4th chord in the walk down, all you have to do is move your index finger down 1 string to be on the 2nd fret of the D string, open up the A string, and there you have it. So those 4 walk down chords will sound like this when you put them in order. And on that very last chord, which is like an A7 suspended, you're just going to strum 3 downstrokes just to kind of build up going into the chorus. So. And it builds a little momentum, and then it breaks into the chorus. Now the chorus starts on a G chord, and it's going to have a couple of different features to it where we're picking individual notes and have a little bit more of a melodic structure to it. And it starts with a G, but after you do 1 measure of the strumming, there's a walk up. And so it's 3 on the low E, 0 on the A, 2 on the A, and then the open D string, 3 on the A, and then on the low E, 3, 0. And basically what this is doing is it follows the melody that the vocals are singing. And then it goes into a D chord. So let me put that together for you. So. And like I said, it follows the vocal melody. When you get to the D chord, you're actually going to start on a D suspended because we're doing 4 measures in a row of D, and that can get a little bit boring, and so they decided to add a little bit of embellishment there as well to make it a little bit more interesting. So we start with D suspended, which is just our D chord. Add your pinky on the 3rd fret of the high E string for 1 measure of strumming. Then we just take the pinky off to play a D. Then we take our middle finger off to play a D sus2. And then put our middle finger back on to complete the 4th measure with a regular D. This is a really common embellishment to do with D chords. It's very similar to Free Fallin' and a lot of other songs that just get bored with D, and so they decide to move the note around on the high E string. So it'll sound like this when you put it together. So when we combine that with the G and the walk up, it'll go like this. And then it repeats for the second part of the chorus. Now sometimes when I'm playing this song, if I'm by myself and I don't have a 12-string guitar or a whole band around me, those individual single notes get to be a little bit thin sounding or weak, and so I actually strum through them. So I'm playing still the melody, but I'm incorporating a chord with it, so it'll sound like this. And all I'm doing is I'm still using those individual notes as the root notes of the chord, and I'm keeping my ring and my pinky on where they would be for a G chord. But I'm just strumming through the strings so that it's a little bit fuller sounding. So, and that is pretty much it. It repeats that for the chorus, and then it goes right back to the verse. And it's really just got those 2 parts to it. It's got a verse, which repeats, and then it has the walk down that joins the verse to the chorus, and then it just goes back and forth, and that's the entire song. So you actually know how to play it, but what I want you to do is listen to the song, go find the original version of it, and see if you can put these pieces together so that you are trusting your ear and developing your ability to kind of pick things out for yourself. And I think you've got it now. So go do the work. It's going to take some time to get your hands used to doing these transitions and these walk-ups and walk-downs, but it's a really fun song that at its simplest form just has 4 chords, but the more you get into it, the more complex it gets if you want to really sound like the Beatles. So that's it. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and you've learned how to play a new song. Leave me a comment and let me know if you have any questions, and also let me know what song you want to learn next. I do take requests and would love to know what is on your mind. And if you find all this stuff helpful, subscribe to the channel because we're putting out new content all the time, and we'd love to be your friend. And until next time, rock on. Okay, so here's a little bit of a bonus clip for you. This is the melody that's being played by a flute or some sort of wind instrument at the end of the song, and I just want to show you how to play it on guitar in case you're playing the guitar with somebody else and you can kind of play the lead part and they can take the rhythm. So this is what it sounds like, and I'll show you how to play it. Okay, so there's some sliding around in there that I'm doing to kind of emulate whatever the instrument is that's playing. But it starts on the G string, and it's just playing using the G major scale. We're gonna play G, so the open G string, and then 2 on the G string, and we're gonna slide from 3 to 5 on the B string with your ring finger. And then you have this fun little hammer-on pull-off sequence. So if I slow that down, we're playing 2 on the G string, hammering on to 3, pulling back off to 2, and then pulling off again to 0. So we're actually creating 1, 2, 3, 4 notes off of 1 pluck. And as you speed it up, it sounds like that. And then we play the G string again, open, and then 2, 0. And on the B string, 3, 1. And then we're going to slide from 2 to 4 on the G, 2 on the G, 0 on the G. That's the first round, and then it repeats. Until right here, the ending is different. So for the ending, I'm going to slide from 4 to 5 twice on the G string, and then the very last note is from 5 up to 7. And that's the end of the song. There you have it. That's fun little bonus content for you there. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you next time.